Welcome to EnVibe Life Conversations with Amy, Parker, and Cheryl Dunn. By tuning in, you are joining a community that will inspire you to increase balance, wellness, and joy in your life. We'll offer expert information and insightful conversations to help us on our journey to live more EnVibe. For more information and articles, remember to also check out our website at envibelife.com. That's EnVibeLife.com. We're grateful that you're here.
Hello, and welcome to the EnVibe Life Conversations podcast with Amy, Parker, and Cheryl Dunn. Welcome to season 2.
Yay!
Yay! We're so excited. As many of you know who have joined us before, and welcome to those who are new, and welcome back to those who have been with us in season 1. Cheryl and I recorded well over 60 episodes. I don't even remember the count in our season 1. And then we have taken a hiatus during the summer of 2021, and now we're rejoining you again, and you will see new content every week. Every Friday morning, the podcast will be published on all your favorite podcast stations and channels, as well as on EnVibeLife.com and the EnVibe Life Conversations YouTube channel. So you can find us in whichever format is the easiest for you to find. We welcome you through all of them. You know, we'd love to hear.
Yeah, definitely.
What some of the favorites are.
Yes, definitely. And so Amy talks about all of our podcasts that we did. We also had articles
every single week.
Came out every week. So
guest authors as well as the two of us writing.
If you missed any of that, it was great content over the year. Also, we did a big event in 2021. Yes, at the very beginning of 2021, we hosted Nourish, which was a one-day retreat that was very EnVibe centered.
It was. We joined forces with Triveza Magazine here in Austin and She Media, and us EnVibe Life helped with the content and programming and hosting of the event. And it was a wonderful day and has inspired Cheryl and I in new business plans and directions, which is part of what we needed to take some time this summer to plan and brainstorm. And we have so many new things coming, and we can't wait to start sharing them little by little. But the first thing I would say is, if you haven't been to our website in a while, please go check us out, www.envibelife.com, EnVibelife.com, because even though we're slightly over a year in, we already did a major redesign and branding as we started seeing how things were working, what we wanted, where we had been, where we want to go, and we are so excited about it and can't wait for it. It's brand new, has just gone live, and so we can't wait for people to start checking it out. And you'll see some new offerings are going to be coming with classes and events and some wellness programming we're going to be doing for corporations.
Yeah, go check it out. So you can see really the direction that Amy and I intend to go with the next step in EnVibe Life. And I feel like our first year was a good reflection of where we started.
And we're still going to be doing everything you're accustomed to us doing. I think our love is this podcast. That's our first. We absolutely love doing this podcast. We have fun when it's just the two of us talking. And that's where the idea for EnVibe Life really came from and started, is Cheryl and I having these conversations on a regular basis and saying, we think other people would enjoy joining in on them.
Right.
And if we can bring experts in to share their knowledge too, oh my goodness, we just increase it all.
I think also, Amy, what we realized is how much we learned. You know, sometimes learning is not easy, you know?
Right.
You know, and we learn so much through these conversations. And we think all of our podcasts have been fun, but some of them, you know, we got to some hard, sticky topics and subjects, and I think that's just life and learning, and that's part of our thing behind EnVibe. We really do believe in having joy and fun in your life, but not every piece of your life is going to always be joyful, but there's learning in those moments as well.
Well, and I think that's really the core of a lot of what I believe about the meaning of life is about learning and growing. And recognizing those moments, whether they're difficult or not difficult, or joyful or not joyful, or painful or not painful, that really every single one of them is there for you and your benefit and your growth. And so to me, when we even, reached the end of year 1 or season 1, and we did a little soul searching on, is this something for us to move forward on? Do we want to keep doing it? And both of us came to the conclusion that, I'll speak for myself, then you can speak for yourself. I can't imagine not doing it.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it, because it's feeding us, and we hope it feeds you too.
Right. And as long as we're still learning in it,
always,
then we think there's a reason for it or a place for it.
Right.
And I have to tell you, the things that have sparked me forward, Cheryl, are when other people, maybe even people I didn't think would be in our demographic or be people who were part of our community, have loved it and have come to me over the summer saying, did you stop? What happened? When are you going to be back at it? I listened every week and I have really missed it. And even if it's just 1 or 2 people, kind of that's all I need to keep going. If we know we're making an impact or a difference with anyone, then it's worth it to me to keep doing it.
I think one of the things that I get from this, and I'm going to share this because I think it's also something that I got from us taking a break this summer, is I continue, because I know the content Amy and I are researching on our own is what we present to our community. If I continue to take in this information and learn it and learn from it, it makes me want to share it. Yes. And that's what I was able to do this summer with us not having the pressure of a weekly podcast and a weekly article. Those things were still out there, but we repurposed a lot of material this summer. It gave me a little more reflection time and a little bit more reading time, learning time, which sparks the creative juices so that we're able to continue to provide to everybody that's listening and watching more content. And that's really where, Amy, I think we're going to go in this next season, is the focus of our content, the intentionality of it, the love behind it,
yes,
and getting it out there, and hopefully sharing it with as many people as possible so that everyone can continue to grow with us.
And again, drop us a line. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. You can, give us comments or messages over the website. If there's something you would like to see about, hear more of, a guest you'd like to see again. We're hoping to bring back a lot of our guests from season 1, because I don't think there was a single one we didn't thoroughly enjoy meeting and speaking to. And we were just blown away so many times. And it's funny, over and over, Cheryl and I would be sitting right in these seats before a podcast, and with the guest coming on, think, I don't know how we're going to get 20 or 30 minutes. It seems like such a limited topic. And then the opposite would happen. That would be the person we most needed to have in our lives at that moment.
Yep. And
the conversation would just grow and bloom and blossom. And then we knew that we were being led to that person and they were being led to us. And it's just such an amazing feeling when that happens, that we were supposed to have this conversation
with
today
this person,
with this person in this way. But I also want to point out, while we had this break this summer, we were still working.
Right.
We just weren't putting out the weekly podcast, and we were repurposing some of our articles and things like that. We were just taking some of the content creation for really just a few weeks, because, for example, we got some podcasts we're already recording weeks before you all actually hear and see them, because I'm sure you all know every once in a while we'll record something and air it that exact same week. Often we need a little bit more lead time than that. So you might be seeing something in a little bit in arrears after we have it recorded. But we've been working this summer on our new ideas and new directions and new ideas for the podcast. And I think one of our goals is to present an even wider array of experts and topics than we had. And I think we did a pretty good job of covering a lot of bases in season 1. But it showed me that even sometimes something that seemed small or obscure ended up really resonating with us in our community. And so we want to just we feel like our job is to present as much information as possible so that our audience, you, our EnVibe Life community, can be exposed to a lot of things and then see what resonates with you and what doesn't.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And that goes with reach out to us. Reach out if you resonate and want to be on our podcast.
Oh, for sure.
You know?
In fact, even if you think I'm not that interesting, drop us a line, because we would like to get a few maybe panel discussions. It's something we spoke about a lot last year. And that was, I think, one of the obstacles of COVID, and us also still learning some of our technical and logistics, things like that. Getting a group of people together is still a little challenging to us, but I think virtually we've figured out ways that we can make that happen. And so, if you're just a frustrated mom, if you are a business owner who would like more ideas for your own work-life balance or that of your company and your staff, or maybe you are on the board of an organization in your community, all of those things I think are relevant and topics we're going to be addressing. So we want to hear from you. Even if you think you don't have much to offer, I promise you do.
Mm-hmm. Also, I feel like those that have been listening have an idea of what we mean by living EnVibe, as far as being more heart-centered, being more mindful of the energy around us that we can't touch, smell, or taste,
And within us.
The energy within us, around us, and how to be more intentional in our lives, more heartful, more mindful. That's what we speak of in living EnVibe. So if you have anything that you want to share that you do in your life to be more EnVibe,
oh, that would be great.
Please share that, because I think that we all want to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Not everything that Amy and I do might resonate with somebody. So if you can share something that might resonate with the community.
And I think we all need different things at different times. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I rotate, because you'll be shocked at this, Cheryl. I didn't meditate as much during the summer as I normally would. At least my morning meditation, because I found myself in a pattern of sleeping a little later.
Yes.
So I was more likely to do a longer guided meditation later in the day, because once my house is noisier or more active, I feel like I get more out of those guided meditations where I put on headphones and block out all other noise and do it that way. But there's hardly a day I didn't spend some time outside. Nature became more of a touch point to the divine, I guess, for me over the summer, or a place where I would get centered and be still. And instead of in this chair, actually, where my normal morning meditation is, listening to Tibetan bowls and, doing all my normal rituals when it's still dark and quiet in the house, sometimes my meditation was more, maybe a lesser time period, even 5 or 10 minutes outside on the patio, listening to, I have a fountain outside, and then I have trees, and so I can hear the air flowing through the leaves, and those became my background noise for me to get centered and go within. And it was really lovely.
And that's the beauty of the change of the seasons. Mm-hmm. So summer does allow a little bit more for that. The sleeping later, the getting to be outside. We are about to embark on a new season, the fall, which unfortunately in Austin, Texas is not a whole lot cooler than it is in the summer. But we're looking at, if we can get to 80. If we can get to 80, we're great.
Right. It's been over 100 degrees here lately. It's really
more
hot.
Humid than what we're used to. Mm-hmm. But the beauty of the change of the seasons and embrace inevitable change is one of the core foundations that we also, we use that at core, but I believe Amy and I embrace change all the time and welcome it. And that's what's coming on with this new season too, is the changes up ahead, changes of seasons and changes of content and changes of what our offerings are. That's where we're headed.
Well, and you know what? Okay, so let's just talk about, we said we were going to talk a little bit about kind of what did I learn on my summer vacation, or how did we spend our summer. And I guess the thing I can say the most, and I think this is why I feel like in some ways I wasn't as productive as I thought I would be during the summer, But you really just hit on it. I've had a lot of change in my life over the past really about 6 months oncoming, and it's all culminated since about the beginning of June time period. And I can share now. I wasn't able to share before. My husband and I sold our primary business, and he's still got commitments to it. So he's still traveling and will be working for several years. And so the day-to-day hasn't changed, but that was a huge change in our lives for us to process. My oldest son has just graduated from college, and he completed his last semester over the summer from home because of COVID. Everything was online. So we've had those changes going on. Actually, all 3 of my boys had some changes. We've been working on changes with EnVibe Life, and it was a lot for me.
It's a lot.
And even though they were all very positive and good changes and things that I'm happy to have in my life and bring about, it's still been a lot for me to process. And I think that's been also part of my sleeping a little, sleeping later is 7:30 in the morning, but sleeping, not getting up at 5:30 or 6 and meditating. By the time I'm getting up, the dog's up. And so if the dog's up, I'm probably out and about, not quiet in my office.
You're even more busy now.
Right. Yes, I know. We got a new puppy last night. Cheryl got a new puppy over this summer. But yeah, a lot of my summer was taken up with processing and kind of absorbing all of those changes coming through in my life with my husband, and our household in general. And so, it's also okay if you need some extra time for something, to recognize that and allow it to happen. I think we've had better results from me saying, it's okay if I need to do a 45-minute meditation this afternoon because I'm just stuck on something and I need help getting through it.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a good thing to learn from the summer is it's okay to sleep in. Mm-hmm. It's okay to take a break and watch some mindless TV. It's okay to do those things. And me personally, I have to tell myself that often because I will beat myself up for, I've got a free hour. What really could I be doing productive wise towards work instead of, this has been your only free hour.
Yeah.
Sit down and enjoy it. So changing that thought process, this summer allowed that because I was also able to sleep a little later with the kids not being in school. And my husband and I were able to take a 2-week vacation. And I want to say that's probably the first time we have done that in 15 years where I wasn't teaching or taking a course, or vice versa, him doing that, to really, as a couple, completely let work go. And that is such a good thing to be grateful for, especially because it's the first time I've really had a staff that supported me enough that I could do that. That's another big change. And how Amy was talking about all the changes in her life, I think that's something that everyone right now can resonate with, because the world is opening back up and things are starting to happen in whatever their new normal is, and so there are more opportunities for us to get out and do things, just like our kids are back at school all day, normal days kind of thing. A new normal, but they're there, they're back out and they're doing. And I think that one of the beauties of COVID is that we look at some of the things that we maybe brought in as self-care and self-love, and we try and keep those going as the schedule starts to fill. I think that is one thing that I want to take as a takeaway, not only from the summer, but from the whole COVID year. There were some things that I really brought into my life that I want to keep there.
Yeah. And, as you were talking, I think I'm probably going to write an article on this now about tools for incorporating change into your life, because you're right. We all have gone up and down and up and down and up and down. And we've done some podcasts. And so go back and watch those 2 on embracing change, and that's where the magic happens. Manifestation is change. If you're calling something great into your life, that in and of itself is change and difference. But also, it can be a lot for sensitive beings, which most of us are, to process that. I mean, it's still, something can be I think when something bad happens to us, we give ourselves permission to take some time to process it. It can even be something good, and you need some time to adjust to the differences, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. And so, I think maybe living in vibe is more important, or what it would mean in this case is being gentle with yourself and allowing yourself what you need, whatever the circumstance.
I think I'm hoping, and maybe it's just the communities that I interact with or the material that I read, I feel like the world as a whole is moving to an EnVibe mindset and lifestyle. Mm-hmm. That might be my hopes, but and it might just, be the little world that I'm in, because I choose very mindful of my interactions as far as media and that kind of stuff. So, but I do feel like there's more people that are taking this self-care awareness, letting this self-care translate into serving and caring for others. Mm-hmm. I feel like that is where the world is going. The world needs it. The world's feeling the want for it. So let's hope that continues.
And so you also enjoyed reading and absorbing new things and had a lot of self-growth over the summer for yourself.
I do feel like that, and that the summer allowed for that. Granted, I feel like we were busy more activity-wise, but I'm a big Audible person, and I'll put Audible on.
You're great.
And run through my house, doing laundry and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like that Audible allows me to have the ability to really consume a lot of information. And I get to this place where I can't wait to turn it on. I can't wait to hear what the next chapter is.
Maybe you should do an article, your top 5 Audible recommendations or something. I think people would be interested to know that.
5.
10 even.
Right?
Because, Cheryl really... I've tried, because Cheryl inspires me. I haven't been able to embrace Audible as much, but I know that for people who do, they absolutely love it. Yeah. And you ingest at least a book a week, don't you?
I try.
On Audible.
Yeah, it's great. It allows me to do that, because if I'm not doing Audible, like the other books I read for more fun, I say those I actually use a book, or I use my Kindle on my iPad. Yeah. That I do more like my nighttime before I go to sleep reading. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like I'm not trying to absorb it, to learn from it, to hear it. I'm just reading it, getting entertainment out of the story. That I do at night, and I don't do Audible for that. But for the rest of the day, anytime I'm in the car, anytime I'm getting ready alone at home, or, and now I have more of that opportunity that my kids are at school. Did that sound super exciting that my kids are at school? Sorry, Caleb and Silas. I didn't mean to be that excited. No. But the Audible really helps me get rid of this physical nervous energy that my body naturally has. Mm-hmm. But I can continue to sit down and absorb, where I know I probably wouldn't personally give myself the permission to sit and read the book. But I'll give myself permission and really hunger for the info if I can just listen to it. And so you put ear pods in. Mm-hmm. And what do you do with your physical phone when you're carrying laundry around? Do you have a pocket or something? You can with the wireless, I can set that phone in the middle of my living room, and I can move from kitchen to laundry room, that kind of stuff. But if I go back to the back of the house, I'll bring the phone with me. Okay. Or I'll put it in a pocket. If I can put it in my pants pocket, it'll go around the house with me that way. And that way it gives my hands are free, where I can do stuff. Tips for you out there. Yes, definitely. Or in the morning when I'm in the bathroom, putting on your makeup and fixing your hair and that kind of stuff. And with Amy and I filming podcasts, she probably doesn't, but I have to spend a little bit more time on the whole makeup. Makeup and hair, right? And so, and I'm a huge ritual person as far as getting out of the shower and putting lotion on and massaging my feet and all that kind of stuff. That I just put on my Audible and listen while I'm doing all of that. I call it my products time. And the rest of my family makes fun of me for that, because I really like my products. I have one son that I'm turning into a products kid. But that, all of that time is when I have it on. And I try and have it on a little bit in the car with my kids, thinking maybe they'll hear a little bit of it. Sometimes they're like, oh, turn this off. We want to hear music or this or that. But if it's on and just playing, then I'm thinking, maybe they're grasping this whole sense of heartfulness, mindfulness, meditation, or whatever I'm listening to. Lately, I've been listening to a lot of Garry Zukav. He has a new book out called Universal Human.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I think it really came out last month, maybe.
Okay.
Right? It's just been this summer because it goes into a lot of COVID stuff. There's chapters that talk about, I haven't gotten to those chapters yet because I'm only about halfway through the book. But so it's very new content coming from him. So it's really good. And it's probably why I have this perception of the whole world evolving to a better place, or a different place. I hate to use the polarity of bad,
right,
good, but he calls it like 5 sensory human to the multisensory human. And multisensory is this whole EnVibe, like being aware of what's in you, out of you, that you're not seeing, or touching or smelling or tasting, that kind of stuff. That awareness, he talks about that. And he talks about that evolution, not just in a personal stance, but like with governments and businesses and, friendships, relationships. I'm sure there's a whole lot more he's going to go into that I haven't gotten there. But he also, I think every one of these systems that he talks about, he does refer back to none of these systems can change until you change within. And as we change within, the without changes. So it's that's been one of my observations this summer, is sitting back and watching like old systems, new systems, and just seeing the dynamics and seeing how people evolve or don't evolve at that time. And what, maybe if I see some people going through things, like how can I assist, and help those sort of actions or interactions with what I know.
All right. I'm going to download the audiobook today.
It's so good.
I'll try.
So good.
With Garry Zukav, I probably want a paper copy or a physical copy too, but
yes. You're going to want a paper copy too, because it's going to be one of those that you're going to want to put on your bookshelf, that you maybe pick up yourself again, but I always hope that somebody else picks it up. Somebody else one day goes, what does she read? And looks and sees that. If it's a super good book, I buy it for my children too. And I'm like, I know you don't want to read this today, but keep it in your collection. And one day when I'm not here, I want you to read it.
And that hasn't gone over well.
No, they haven't opened one book. They haven't opened one book I've given them. But Mom's making this little collection that I think one day, and I kind of feel sometimes it takes hitting, rock bottom. And I hate to think of my children going through that, but that's where you grow. And that's the growth, is when your kids hit bottom, that they'll be like, oh, I can't, Mom's so far away right now, or she's busy, or, maybe I'll just pick up a book. I don't know. Maybe I'm wishful thinking.
It may happen. We'll see. So I think one of the things to come from this, and by the way, we weren't exactly sure what we were going to say when we sat down to record this. We just knew we wanted to
talk about our summer
and changes to come for EnVibe Life, and that we're embarking upon a second season, and we will be here weekly again. But I think one of the things I'm taking away from our conversation is, let's take some of those things we enjoyed when we had a little extra time and carry them forward.
Definitely. Well, thank you for listening. It's been so fun. We're so glad to be back.
I know, it is so fun.
Like, subscribe. Please share this with your friends if you think that they would resonate with it, or want to hear it. Go ahead and leave us some comments, message us. Everything you can do to help spread the word will help us, will help you, will help us get more content. And
because seriously, I can't tell you how many, probably hundreds of podcasts we have forwarded to one another. Yeah. If you haven't done it when you're in Apple Podcasts, and I'm sure in all the other channels, there's that little icon in the top right corner. You click on it and you can send it in a message to any of your friends. So please do that. We'd love to expand our community and hear from everyone.
Thanks for listening. Thank you for listening to EnVibe Life Conversations. For more information and to join our community, be sure to check out our website at envibelife.com. We look forward to sharing with you.